everybody. Today we are talking about planning out your content, your calendar, your promotions, everything you can for the last quarter of the year. And I do this all the time in my business in quarters. Some of you might do this monthly or even bi-weekly, but I feel that doing this quarterly is the most efficient way to get this done and also to take a huge chunk off of your plate before heading into 3 months of your business where you need time to work on your business and nurture your leads and help your clients and also have enough brain power and energy to create new things and enhance your ideas and take advantage of all those juices flowing in your brain. And so that is what I'm talking about today, planning for the last quarter. Stick around.
You're listening to Marketing Tips with Meliss podcast.
Welcome to Marketing Tips with Meliss podcast. And now your host, Meliss-Ep.
All right, so as we know, a quarter is 3 months. So there are 4 quarters in the year. And I like to divide up my goals quarterly. I like to plan out my content quarterly. I like to know when I'm launching certain programs quarterly. And this helps me move my business forward with a strategic plan. So like I said earlier, I can really focus on my clients and my students and creating new programs and exciting adventures in the business. And I can't do that if I'm constantly stuck in this mindset of I need to make emails, I need to make blog posts, I need to figure out my content on social media, I need to figure out what I'm writing for my emails and what my podcasts will be about. And there's just so many moving pieces as a business owner that if you can just take this huge chunk off your plate and not have to worry about it for 3 months, it is a huge weight lifted. So the first thing I do is I get out a calendar for 3 months. I actually do mine in Trello. I actually show this inside my complete content strategy toolkit, which you can grab at abundantstrategy.com. And I have a Trello board for 3 months at a time. If you want to do it on a written calendar, you can do that as well. And the first thing you do is you figure out all of the holidays or all of the holidays that you care to celebrate, whether they are holidays in your country or maybe they are those crazy days like ice cream day, if that's relevant to your business, or this is drink as much water day, or whatever those crazy holidays are. You figure that out and you put them on the calendar, and then you can create content based on those specific days. The next thing you do is you figure out all of the promotions that you're going to be running, all the events that you're going to be running, and any challenges, things like that. So when I run Thanks for the Clients Challenge, I already know months in advance when I'm going to do that. What this does is it helps me plan out what content I'll need to have previous to that. So maybe like 2 weeks leading up to my challenge group, or if I have a big event, or if I'm a guest speaker, or if I'm part of a telesummit, I need to know when to post what type of content, and I won't know that unless I plug these things in onto the calendar. The next thing I plug in are all the testimonials and social proof that I want to share. Now, if you don't have enough to last the whole quarter, then just maybe do a month's worth. And as new ones come in, you can plug those in as well, but you can figure out where you want to put them on the calendar. So as they come in, it's kind of like a plug and play. And giving the social proof out and the testimonials and showing people what you do really builds your authority and credibility and allows for more and more people to want to work with you because you now have examples of your work and feedback of how great you are. Now, the next thing I do is I plan out my blog topics or my podcast topics or my going live topics. And I might not think about the meat of what I'm actually going to be covering, but I do at least think of the title or the topic so I can plug that into the calendar. And as I get closer to that date, that's when I'll go back in and I'll brainstorm what it is I want to cover. What are the 3 or 4 bullet points? So for example, I knew that I was going to do this podcast called Planning for the Last Quarter, but just a day or 2 before actually recording this, I sat down and I made a list of everything I wanted to cover. So at least I know what will be going out to my audience and when, and making sure that it makes sense with all of my promotions. You want your promotional calendar to be in line with your content calendar. So the next thing that I plan out is where I'm going to post all this stuff. I have all this great content, but where am I going to post it? And there are several different places you can post. You can post on your personal page. You can post on your business page. page, and you can post in your group. I don't plan out content that I'm going to post in other people's group because for me, I just feel like I could do that on the fly. There might be a post or two where I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. I want to go into a group and ask, and I'll jot it down so I don't forget it. But for the most part, when I'm planning out my quarter, I'm planning out my groups, which is my group, my personal page, and my business page. And then you also want to consider which days you're gonna take off. Maybe you don't work on the weekend, so you wanna plan what those would look like. Or maybe you know you're gonna go on vacation, so you're gonna take that off. Or maybe you know like your kids have some sort of thing and you don't wanna work that day, so you're gonna plan that out as well. Then you can go into inspiration or motivation. What can you post that's inspirational or motivational, and where are you gonna put that? Maybe it's once a week. So maybe it's like every Thursday you're gonna post something motivational or inspirational. And so you can kind of work down the calendar so that you're working through all of the Thursdays as opposed to working across the calendar week by week. And that might be easier. There's actually several ways to do this. If you wanted to do a theme for the week, for example, you could say this week in week 1 is this theme. In week 2, it's this theme, and you're working across. So now every single thing you're creating for that week has to do with that theme. That's going to be really easy for you to come up with content ideas because it has to all relate to that category. The other thing you can do is work up and down the calendar. So the first thing you're going to do is everything on Monday, for example. And if Monday is your social proof day, then you just have to come up with all the social proof for all the Mondays in the month or in the quarter, however you're planning it out. Then you move on to Tuesday, and maybe Tuesday is your going live day. So you're going to go live, and now you need to think of just the titles or the topics of all of the going lives going up and down the calendar for Tuesday. And that's how you can move across the board. I'm sure that you've been told over and over and over again that creating content is an essential part of your marketing plan. But if you're like most business owners, you might be stuck in analysis paralysis trying to figure out what, where, and how to post. Or maybe you've been creating content like crazy, but you just aren't seeing the results you've been promised. I promise you, you're not alone. That's why I created my complete content strategy toolkit, a comprehensive digital toolkit to efficiently and consistently create meaningful content that converts. My toolkit is packed with over $3,000 worth of tools, and the best part, I'm offering it all for the price of one dinner. Go check it out now at abundantstrategy.com. Those are the two ways to do it where you can really be strategic, and then you can sit down for an hour and plan out either the whole week's content by theme or all of the Mondays, for example, and then go take a break. So I know that some of you are scared to plan out content this far in advance because you want it to feel real and authentic. And I just want to remind you that being authentic and being efficient are two things that can happen together. It doesn't mean that being efficient means you are not being authentic. So one thing that I like to do is to leave gaps inside of my content strategy. And so I leave gaps so that I can post in the moment, something like a selfie in the park, or this is what I'm eating for dinner, or here's me and my dog today, or something like that. But I do schedule those out. So when I'm setting up the board and it's kind of like a puzzle, what's going to go here and there and where and whatever, I do put in gap, gap, gap. And I know that I'm going to fill those gaps with in the moment types of things. So I want you to think about how you will post now that we're going into this final quarter. I want you to think about how you can be very strategic in this way, how you can be very efficient in this way so that you are able to now spend time with your clients and not have to think about your content creation. And I also want you to take into consideration your revenue goals and the revenue goals that you set up for this year and the revenue goals that you are setting up hopefully now for the future, for the beginning of next year in that first quarter. And what content do you have to post now, or what promotions do you have to run, or what challenges or events do you have to be a part of or run so that you can achieve the revenue goals that you set out to achieve at the beginning of the year. If this is like the last quarter and you haven't met your goals, this is going to be a push, 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 let's stretch and make it happen type of quarter. So you need to be really strategic in where those promotions are going to go and what are the challenges that you're running and all of those types of things. If you've already made your goal, then this last quarter can be like all the gravy. This is the stretch goal. This is whatever comes from this is just extra. So you can maybe be a little more chill or relaxed. So you get to decide, it is your business. You get to decide how you want to run it, how hard you want to push, how relaxed you want to chill, and what this means for the planning, the future planning of your business based on the revenue goals that you set for this last quarter of the year to finish the year off strong, and also which will lead in to the first quarter of the new year. So for example, if you are a health coach, we know that January is a really hot time for your market where everyone wants to get fit and they want to lose weight and they're making their New Year's resolutions. So what that means is to make the sales in January, you need to be running killer content now and marketing in this last quarter. So that's what I mean by planning out the strategy in advance based on what you are doing now. So the sales that you are making in January are based off the marketing that you're doing now in this last quarter. So think about that. Now, if you're not going to launch anything in January, you will have a completely different strategy. So that is how I plan out my last quarter of the year. I hope this helps, and I will talk to you soon. Do you struggle with posting content on social media? Is it difficult to show up consistently? Or maybe you're overwhelmed by what to post where. That's why I created my complete content strategy toolkit, a comprehensive digital toolkit to efficiently and consistently create meaningful content that converts. My toolkit is packed with over $3,000 worth of tools, and the best part, I'm offering it all for the price of one dinner. Go check it out now at abundantstrategy.com.
Thanks for listening to the Marketing Tips with Meliss podcast at www.marketingtipswithmeliss.com.
Hey coaches and healers, it's time to feel supported in your business. Head on over to our free community to get access to my best resources for free. I'm talking marketing tips, business strategy, feedback, and so much more. Join now at magneticmarketingmastermind.com. See you there.